Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding Mountain. And today I'm going to talk to you about super short rest times in between sets and when you might want to do this and when you don't want to do it and why you don't want to do it all the time. Now, I have talked a lot in the comments about this. A lot of people ask me these things, and every week I get people to ask me the same questions that have been asked before. And yeah, sometimes it's necessary for me to make a video recapping some of the basics of natural bodybuilding. Now, the thing is about super short rest times in between sets is that it will stress the endurance fibers of the muscle. One of the reasons why is because your creatine and ATP stores don't have a chance to replenish, and therefore your body has to use a different energy source, which basically is used by the endurance fibers of the muscle. So this can be a great way, especially if you're an endurance fiber dominant person, to stimulate that muscle. Maybe it's the triceps, maybe it's the chest, maybe like whatever it is that you feel that you get a better muscular pump, a better muscular burn, and more hypertrophy over the long run. This can help. It also helps with super saturating an area with blood, which can also contribute to overall muscular size. But, and this is a big disclaimer on this, I feel this will only help if you're also doing some heavyweight days at certain times as well. And the other thing is that you're going to notice that if you're doing a big compound movement like deadlifts, squats, or bent over rows, it could be pretty dangerous to be using decent amounts of weight with super short rest times, because if your lower back fatigues in the wrong way, it will no longer be able to stabilize properly, and therefore it could end up causing you an injury. So for that reason, I would never recommend super short rest times with heavyweights especially, but I would also not recommend it with large compound movements such as squats or deadlifts. Now, the one thing you will notice though, is that you can get away with shorter rest times with certain isolation movements, such as calf training, bicep training, shoulder training, and tricep training. So some of the smaller muscle groups will recover faster, and you won't need maybe the 1.5, 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes to recover in between sets. So one could argue that, 30 seconds to a minute might be enough for some of those smaller muscle groups for the most part. And then once in a while, again, you can do a longer rest time with some heavier weights and see how you feel that way. So a mix of both is good. Short rest times, and then another day you do longer rest times for your workouts, or maybe most of the time you do the longer rest times with your big compounds. And then once in a while, when you want to just shorten things up and really hyper focus on those endurance fibers, then you do the super short rest, like 30 seconds in between sets for those days. And so this is the way I would do it. And this is the way that I do it. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. This is the way I do it. But for the most part, as a general rule, 1 minute to 2 minutes in between sets is about the perfect amount of rest. And then you work on that as a foundation and then adjust from there depending on what your goal is in the moment. Another thing about the super short rest time in between sets is that it will elevate your heart rate. And because it elevates your heart rate, you may get a bit of a cardiovascular effect from the workout as well. And that might be also your goal. Maybe you want to burn some extra calories and so forth sometimes. And so I could see that also being a reason to do this if your goal is cardiovascular health primarily, right? So yeah, I hope this helped out in your training, guys. Make sure you also wear a t-shirt with your face on it once in a while, because that makes you a really cool dude. I hope this helps out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now.